We've covered the world's deadliest poisons. We've talked about toxic creatures, radioactive disasters, and substances so dangerous they need their own hazmat teams. But this list, it's a little closer to home, because these aren't locked away in labs or bubbling in the Amazon rainforest. These are things we use, wear, spray, or eat every single day, and they're slowly wearing you down one product at a time. I'm Mike with List 25, and these are 25 of the most toxic things we use every day. 25. Standard toothpaste with SLS or Triclosan. For something we swish around in our mouths twice a day, you'd think toothpaste would be 100% above board. But a lot of conventional brands still come with ingredients that sound more at home in a chemistry lab. Two of the biggest troublemakers are Triclosan and SLS. Triclosan used to be added to toothpaste to help prevent gingivitis, but then it came to light that it also messes with your endocrine system, potentially disrupts your thyroid, and may even contribute to antibiotic resistance. The FDA banned it from hand soaps in 2016, but brands like Colgate didn't pull it from their total formula until 2019. That was only after serious public backlash. Then there's sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS. That's what gives toothpaste its foamy, bubbly lather. But it can also trigger mouth irritation, make canker sores worse, and strip away the natural barrier that protects your mouth's soft tissue. If you want to avoid the stuff, look for toothpaste that's SLS and Triclosan free. Choose natural brands, and be on the lookout for EWG certified products while you're at it. Let me just take a look here. We're good. Sodium fluoride is that can't be the only ingredient. This can't be right. 24. Non-stick cookware with Teflon and PFOA. Non-stick pans make life easier in the kitchen. There is no question about it. But depending on their state and how you use them, they could be adding more than just flavor to your food. Most older non-stick cookware is coated with Teflon, which is the brand name for a chemical called PTFE. It holds up fine under regular heat, but once the temperature climbs too high, like over 450 degrees Fahrenheit, the coating starts to break down and release toxic fumes. Breathing in those can lead to something called polymer fume fever, which feels a lot like the flu. Headache, chills, nausea. It's not a great dinner trade-off. And if you have pet birds, those same fumes can be lethal. Older pans were also made using a chemical called PFOA. That one has been tied to cancer, thyroid issues, and developmental problems in kids. It was mostly phased out in the US by 2015, but traces still show up in the environment and even in human blood. To stay on the safe side, cook on low or medium heat, replace damaged pans, and keep the kitchen well ventilated. Or switch to cast iron or ceramic and skip the risk entirely. 23. Air fresheners. If your house smells like ocean breeze, well, there's a good chance that you're actually breathing in a mix of industrial chemicals. Most air fresheners don't clean anything. They just release a blend of synthetic scents and compounds into the air and hope your nose doesn't ask too many questions. Some of the ingredients used can actually mess with your lungs, trigger headaches, or make you feel lightheaded. Studies have shown that repeated exposure can also affect hormones and raise your risk of certain cancers. Even so-called green sprays or plug-ins can give off the same harmful compounds. And surveys show that more than 20% of people report health problems from fragrance products, and that includes asthma flare-ups and skin reactions. If you're trying to clean the air, not mask it, open a window, run a fan, or use baking soda to absorb odors. The less perfume in the air, the more your lungs will thank you for it. 22. Common cleaning supplies. Multi-purpose sprays, glass cleaners, oven degreasers, they don't just wipe away grime. They release clouds of VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, that hang in the air long after the sparkle fades. Even one cleaning session can leave your eyes burning and your throat scratchy. Use them often, and you might end up with chronic cough, irritated lungs, and for some people, asthma that only gets worse over time. One chemical called 2-butoxyethanol, used in some glass and surface cleaners, has been tied to reproductive problems in animal studies. Detergents with alkyl phenyl ethoxylates, also flagged for hormone disruption. And if your cleaner smells extra fresh, it might be hiding phthalates, which have their own set of hormone scrambling side effects. You don't need a lab coat to clean a countertop. Vinegar, baking soda, and unscented Castile soap can handle most messes without turning your home into a gas chamber. And if you're using commercial stuff, crack a window, ditch the aerosols, and skip anything with fragrance on the label. 21. Perfumes and Colognes. Thanks to a loophole in labeling laws, the word fragrance can stand in for dozens of different chemicals. Some of them, like benzaldehyde, camphor, and acetone, can mess with your head. And I mean that in the most literal way possible. The EPA found that even small exposures to these can cause headaches, drowsiness, nausea, and throat irritation. And if you've ever had someone's cologne set off your asthma, well, that's not in your head either. It's a known trigger. Fragrances also sneak in phthalates, which we already called out in household cleaners. These chemicals act like hormone mimics, building up slowly and throwing off your endocrine system over time. And it's not just perfume. Body sprays, scented lotions, even linen sprays often use the same chemical mix. If you're trying to cut back, switch to fragrance-free or phthalate-free products, use perfumes in small amounts, and apply them to clothing instead of skin. Or go minimal and stick to essential oils. Just the real kind, not the kind spiked with synthetics. 20. Pesticides and Insecticides. We don't just spray bugs, we eat the aftermath. Pesticides tend to show up in roach sprays, ant traps, garden treatments, and they're usually packed with pyrethroids, and before that, organophosphates. Even though some of the worst offenders like chlorpyrifos have been pulled from store shelves, plenty of chemical sprays still line the aisles of your local hardware store. Now, too much exposure to pyrethroids can make your skin tingle or your head spin. In the long term, some have been tied to neurodevelopment issues, especially in kids. But your biggest risk of exposure is in your food. A lot of conventionally grown fruits and vegetables carry pesticide residues. And while each might be within legal limits, toxicologists have raised flags about the mix we're consuming day after day. Over time, that adds up. To dial it down, start by rinsing produce well, peeling when you can, and going organic for high residue items. Around the house, try sealing cracks or using traps instead of broad sprays. A few small changes can keep both the bugs and the brain fog away. 19. Processed meats like bacon, ham, and hot dogs. Okay, don't hate me for this, but that crispy piece of bacon on your plate comes with the same cancer risk categories as asbestos. Processed meats, things like sausages, deli slices, hot dogs, and yes, bacon, are preserved through curing, smoking, or chemical additives like nitrates and nitrites. Once those hit your system, they can convert into nitrosamines, which are known to cause cancer. It's a sad but true reality that the World Health Organization, or WHO, officially put processed meats in the Group 1 carcinogen category, the same group as tobacco. And it's not just cancer. These meats are also packed with sodium, which can drive up blood pressure and put stress on your heart over time. The real issue is how often people eat them. Breakfast, lunch, snack, on pizza. No one is saying you can't have another hot dog at a ball game, but it's worth cutting back just a little. Look for no nitrates added labels. Try fresh cuts of meat instead, and when you can, go for plant-based or nitrate-free swaps. 18. Microwave popcorn bags. Oh, what the heck. I've already ruined someone's day with the bacon entry, so might as well go all the way, right? Microwave popcorn is very convenient. You just pop that bag in, hit start, and boom! Pop. Hot buttery snack. But apart from that signature smell and quick snack, you're also getting a combo of chemicals that love to overstay their welcome. The real issue is the bag itself. Most are lined with grease-resistant coatings made from PFOS, the same forever chemicals we called out in nonstick pans. One of the worst offenders, PFOA, has been phased out, but newer versions are still in use. And when the bag heats up, those chemicals can leach right onto your snack. Studies have shown that regular popcorn eaters can have PFOS levels up to 63% higher than average. And don't forget the artificial butter. The old flavoring diacetyl caused serious lung damage in factory workers. Most brands took it out, but replaced it with similar compounds that still raise red flags. So if you're hooked on popcorn, well, try air popping or stovetop instead. It comes with the same crunch, but none of the chemical baggage. 17. Vinyl or PVC shower curtains. That strong new shower curtain smell when you unwrap a vinyl curtain is actually a cloud of chemical off-gassing, and it can be pretty nasty. Most cheap shower curtains and liners are made from PVC or polyvinyl chloride, which requires a mix of additives like phthalates, organotins, and other chemical stabilizers during manufacturing. One study found up to 108 different VOCs coming from a single curtain. 7 of those are classified by the EPA as hazardous air pollutants with known health effects. They can cause nausea, headaches, and irritation to the eyes, nose, and throat. Long-term exposure may result in liver damage, nervous system issues, and in some cases, cancer. The phthalates are another concern. They can rub off onto your skin or cling to household dust, meaning the exposure doesn't stay in the bathroom. A safer option? Go for PEVA, EVA, or fabric curtains instead. And if you've already bought vinyl, let it air out in a well-ventilated space for a few days before using it. 16. Pressed wood and that new furniture smell. You know that sharp, slightly chemical scent that hits when you unwrap a new desk or a bookshelf? That's formaldehyde. Yep, the same stuff used in funeral homes. Pressed wood products like particle board, plywood, and fiberboard are glued together with resins that often contain formaldehyde. It's what gives cheap furniture its structure, and your home a dose of carcinogenic air. The problem is those fumes don't just disappear. Formaldehyde slowly seeps out into the air over time, especially in the first few weeks, and even more so when it's hot or humid. So, here in Florida, oh my. It's been associated with upper respiratory cancers with high exposure, but even low levels can induce asthma and allergy-like symptoms in sensitive people. And since many of us live surrounded by composite wood, floors, cabinets, side tables, it tends to be everywhere. So look for labels like NAF or ULEF when buying wood products. Let new furniture off-gas outside or in a ventilated space before bringing it in. And for high-use areas like bedrooms, solid wood or metal is a much safer bet. 15. Tap water. Before you go and get all hateful in the comments section, let me just clarify this by saying certain areas. No, your tap water probably isn't trying to kill you. But depending on where you live and what's in your pipes, it might be serving up more than just hydration. Municipal tap water is usually disinfected with chlorine or chloramine, which does a great job killing bacteria. But when those chemicals react with organic matter in the water, they can form byproducts like trihalomethanes and haloacetic acids. Over time, those have been linked to a higher risk of bladder cancer in long-term studies. Lead comes with its own problems. If your home has older plumbing, even a little bit of corrosion can leach lead into the water, especially if it's been sitting overnight. And yes, there is no safe level of lead in the blood. Arsenic, PFOS, even traces of pesticide runoff have all been found in some public and private water sources. To be safe, check your local water report. Use a good carbon filter if needed. And if your house is older, let the tap run for a minute before filling your glass. Now I'm thirsty. Go. I have a filter. 0 water. It's great. 14. Cosmetics. Even if you don't wear it yourself, cosmetics are a major source of daily exposure to some questionable ingredients. Some lipsticks have tested positive for lead, not added on purpose, but showing up as a contaminant in certain color pigments. Parabens are another one to watch. They're used to keep products from growing bacteria, but they also mimic estrogen in the body, and have been found in breast tumor tissue, which has led to ongoing debate about their role in hormone-related cancers. There's also phthalates again, in some fragrances, formaldehyde in older nail polishes, and who knows in what powder you're accidentally inhaling. You don't have to throw all your makeup out, but do check for labels that say paraben-free, phthalate-free, or lead-free. Simply being more picky about what you use day to day can do more than you think. 13. Fabric softeners and dryer sheets. Who doesn't love fresh-smelling laundry? But take a guess how much of that is actual cleanliness and how much is chemical residue. Most fabric softeners and dryer sheets leave behind a thin layer of fragrance, static reducers, and conditioners, many of which come with a price. One group, called quaternary ammonium compounds, help make fabric feel smooth, but has also been flagged for triggering asthma. Some are even classified as asthmagens, meaning the more you're exposed, the more likely your lungs are to turn on you. Then comes the scent. In addition to being strong, it's complicated. Those long-lasting fragrances are often made with phthalates and synthetic musks like galaxolide, which can stick around in your body for a long time. Dryer vents have even been shown to emit pollutants like styrene into your home air. Want to keep the soft feel without the chemical cloud? Use vinegar in the rinse cycle, toss in some wool dryer balls, or just skip the softener entirely. 12. Hair dyes. Permanent hair dye, especially darker shades, floods your scalp with compounds like ammonia, peroxide, resorcinol, and one of the most notorious, PPD. That's short for paraphenylene diamine, and it's known for causing allergic reactions so intense they've sent people to the ER. Red, itchy, blistered scalp? That's no coincidence. But it's not just about itching. PPD and related chemicals can react to form mutagenic byproducts like Bandrowski's base, which messes with DNA. Studies have also looked into possible links between regular dye use and cancers like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and bladder cancer. And while the results vary, the risks are real enough that hairdressers, who work with these chemicals daily, face a classified occupational cancer risk. It gets worse if you're also using straighteners. Some of those treatments release formaldehyde gas, and I'm pretty sure you remember what that stuff can do. A few easy changes can help. Stretch out the time between dye jobs, opt for ammonia-free or low PPD products, and avoid full root-to-tip coverage every time. 11. Antibacterial soaps. Remember Triclosan from the toothpaste section? Well, that wasn't its only hiding spot. For years, antibacterial soaps and body washes were packed with it. The idea was that they'd offer extra protection, but studies showed regular soap and water worked just as well without the hormone disruption or chemical buildup. Triclosan absorbs through your skin, hangs out in your system, and has shown up in the urine of nearly 75% of people tested in the US. It's also been found in breast milk and wastewater, so once it's out there, it sticks around. It was banned from over-the-counter soaps in 2016, but you'll still find it in some deodorants, mouthwashes, cosmetics, and even antimicrobial socks or cutting boards. So if you're using anything with that label, you might still be getting exposed. The fix is simple. Skip antibacterial formulas and check your products. You can also look for Castile soap. It's biodegradable, gentle on skin, and free of synthetic detergents. 10. Nail polish and removers. Traditional nail polish often comes loaded with a group of ingredients so concerning, they've earned the nickname the Toxic Trio: toluene, dibutyl phthalate, DBP, and formaldehyde. Toluene helps the polish spread smoothly, but it's a known neurotoxin. Breathing in too much can mess with your nervous system. DBP is a plasticizer that may lead to hormone disruption and reproductive issues, and formaldehyde, yes, the same one in your pressed wood or hair dyes, is a carcinogen that can irritate skin and lungs. A lot of brands have switched to formulas labeled 3 free or 5 free, but unless you're reading the fine print, the risks may still be sitting in your makeup bag. Acetone, on the other hand, works fast, but it also strips moisture from your skin and releases vapors that can sting your nose and eyes. If you're a regular painter, consider switching to non-toxic brands, ventilate your space, and take polish breaks to let your nails recover. Soy-based removers may be slower, but they're a whole lot gentler. 9. Plastic food containers. Anyone who's become a parent in the last 20 years or so is well aware that there's such a thing as BPA in plastics, and that they should look for BPA-free alternatives. But the problem isn't just BPA. Flexible plastics and older food tubs can also leach phthalates, a group of chemicals used to soften plastic. When those containers get scratched, heated, or hold greasy foods, the chemicals don't stay put. They can migrate into your food and end up in your system. Phthalates and BPA both mess with hormones too. They've been attached to fertility issues, developmental problems, and hormone-sensitive cancers. And while BPA-free sounds safe, a lot of replacements like BPS raise the same concerns. To play it safe, store leftovers in glass or stainless steel. Skip microwaving in plastic altogether, and when you do use it, stick to recycling codes number 1, 2, 4, or 5. The rest are better left on the shelf. 8. Scented candles and incense. They flicker, they glow, they smell like vanilla. And sometimes they release the same stuff found in car exhaust. I know, kind of sucks, doesn't it? Paraffin candles, which are still the most common kind, are made from petroleum byproducts. When burned, they can release toxins like toluene and benzene, two VOCs that will never be classified as aromatherapy. Benzene's been tied to leukemia, while toluene messes with the nervous system. Oh, and that little puff of black smoke? Well, it carries ultrafine particles you don't want in your lungs. Not to mention, if you're burning imported candles, check the wick. The US banned lead wicks, but that doesn't stop other countries from using them. As for incense, the smoke is loaded with particulates and PAHs. Tests have actually shown they can pollute more than cigarettes. If, however, all of that hasn't put you off of that cozy glow, go for soy or beeswax candles with cotton wicks. And crack a window, always. 7. Mothballs. I think mothballs have become a bit less popular over the years, but some of our grandmothers will never stop using them. Their distinct smell comes from chemicals like naphthalene or paradichlorobenzene, both of which slowly release fumes that kill insects and obviously aren't that great for people either. Naphthalene, for instance, can mess with your blood and liver. Inhaling it or getting it on your skin can cause nausea, fatigue, headaches, and in more serious cases, hemolytic anemia, where your red blood cells literally fall apart. That risk jumps for infants or anyone with G6PD deficiency. Paradichlorobenzene, the other common ingredient, has been linked to breathing issues and many increased cancer risks. And no, the danger doesn't end when you put the lid on. If you can smell mothballs on your clothes, you are breathing it in. If you want moth protection without the chemical vapor, try sealed storage bins, cedar blocks, or lavender satchels. 6. Deodorants with aluminum. We all want to smell great, especially in summer. But antiperspirants use aluminum salts to plug your sweat glands, which sounds fine until you realize you're rubbing metal into one of the thinnest skinned, most absorbent parts of your body. Some studies have raised concerns about long-term aluminum exposure, especially with daily use near breast tissue. Studies haven't nailed down a clear link to Alzheimer's or breast cancer, but the concerns haven't exactly disappeared. A bunch of formulas also include parabens, synthetic fragrances, and other ingredients that can mimic biomolecules or irritate sensitive skin. And if you're applying it right after shaving, well, you're basically giving those chemicals a fast pass into your system. If you're trying to cut down on exposure, there are solid aluminum-free trade-offs. Many use minerals or botanicals to keep you fresh without plugging up your sweat glands. I use this. I'm angry because it says aluminum sesquichlorohydrate. Oh, damn it. But I'm not rubbing it on, it's a spray. Crap. 5. Sunscreens with Oxybenzone. There's no doubt about it. You need sunscreen. But not all sunscreens are created equal. One ingredient, Oxybenzone, shows up in a lot of big-name brands, and it's been flagged more than a few times. Unlike mineral blockers, Oxybenzone doesn't just sit on the surface, it sinks in. Blood tests have picked it up in nearly every person researchers have tested, and that's after typical use. Once inside the body, it acts like a weak hormone. Some studies have linked it to shifts in testosterone and estrogen, and in a few cases, lower birth weights in babies born to people with high exposure. For others, though, the issue isn't hormonal, it's skin. Oxybenzone can cause rashes or irritation. If you're rethinking your sunscreen, good. You've got options that don't involve soaking your skin in chemicals. Mineral sunscreens with zinc or titanium do the job without getting into your bloodstream. And there are definite bonus points if you throw on a long sleeve shirt or grab some shade. Let me check this one real quick. It's not in here. Perfect. You can see I like spraying things on. Both this and my deodorant are sprays. 4. Receipts or thermal paper. Plastics aren't the only place bisphenols show up. Thermal paper, you know the kind of paper receipts are printed on? Yeah, they're often coated with BPA or its chemical twin, BPS. That coating is what reacts to heat, makes the ink appear, but it doesn't stay put. Just touching a receipt transfers those hormone-disrupting chemicals onto your skin. And from there, they get absorbed fast. Cashiers who handle hundreds of these a day have been found to carry much higher BPA levels in their bodies than the average person. And sadly, the amounts in a single receipt can outdo what's found in a can of food. Even worse, using hand sanitizer right before handling one just opens the floodgates and increases how much your skin soaks up. If you're offered a digital receipt, take it. If you need the paper, fold it print side in and don't fiddle with it more than you have to. Then, wash your hands before you snack. This one's sneaky, but avoidable. 3. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame. Aspartame is being added to sugar-free gum, like yogurts, flavored water, protein powders, and tons of so-called health drinks. It is almost 200 times sweeter than regular old sugar, so tiny amounts can go a long way. Once your body processes it, you end up with methanol, and that eventually turns into formaldehyde and formic acid. That is a whole chain of byproducts your body doesn't exactly need. The FDA says it's safe in moderation, but apart from being connected to things like headaches, mood shifts, and possible nerve effects, people still can't agree whether or not it has cancer risks. It was classified as possibly carcinogenic 2 years ago, but I have to make it clear that was based on limited evidence linking it to liver cancer. Cutting back is pretty doable. My mom has to, and she hasn't touched it in decades. Swap diet sodas for sparkling water or stevia-sweetened drinks, and keep an eye on labels. Aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame K hide in all sorts of everyday stuff. I'm not kidding, ask my mom. There's so much stuff she can't have anymore. Cinnamon, mostly gum, she can pretty much only do cinnamon. 2. Bottled microplastics. Most people reach for a plastic bottle of water without giving it much thought. But studies have found microplastic particles in nearly every sample tested. The source? The bottle itself. Bottled water can contain hundreds of microplastic fragments per liter. These bits pass through your digestive system, and some may even cross into your bloodstream or organs. It can happen during manufacturing, from friction inside the bottle, or even just from twisting the cap. Scientists are still figuring out the long-term effects, but early findings suggest links to inflammation, oxidative stress, and hormone disruption. Even bottles labeled BPA-free aren't in the clear. They still shed particles, especially when exposed to heat or reused too many times. If you're trying to cut down on plastic exposure, the simplest fix is to switch to a glass or stainless steel bottle. It's better for your health and better for the planet. I've been using you a lot lately in these videos. 1. Mattresses. Every night, you stretch out on a mattress, not realizing what else you might be lying in. A lot of traditional mattresses, especially older ones or budget options, were soaked with flame retardant chemicals like PBDEs to meet safety codes. But these don't stay buried in the foam. They seep out, drifting into household dust that ends up in your lungs, your food, and your bloodstream. PBDEs raises the risk of developmental problems, memory loss, hormone interference, and even reduced fertility. Some versions are being studied for cancer links. And since you spend hours each night in close contact, well, need I say more? To sleep safer, look for mattresses made without added flame retardants, or at least wrap yours in a tight zippered cover. HEPA filter vacuums and damp dusting can help cut the contamination around your bedroom. And if your mattress is shedding foam or older than a decade, it might be time to move on. Now I gotta go check my purple mattress. Damn it, this list is making me want to look around my entire house, but you know what? That's a wrap, because I gotta go do that. If today's list makes you look at something differently from now on, then guess what? I've done my job. But hold up, it's trivia time. Which combination of chemicals is known as the toxic trio in nail polish? Oh good, I get to pronounce these again. Is it A, benzene, formalin, and acetone, B, toluene, dibutyl phthalate, and formaldehyde, C, camphor, xylene, and ethyl acetate, or D, methanol, parabens, and lead acetate? Drop your answers, or best guess, in the comments below. And if today's list was your cup of tea, well, you'll love our related video, 25 Most Toxic Things on Earth. I covered everything from popular poisons to the world's deadliest animals. That link should pop up right about now. Great. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe, click the notification bell, do all the social media stuffs, mine, List 25s, everything. And I'll catch you guys next time. And I mean it. It means a lot to us. I know us YouTubers say it a lot, but that's because it works. Helps keep the channel going. Love you guys. Catch you next time. Bye. Stay safe.